So regardless of what you thought about Batman v Superman, I think many people, and by many I think majority, will agree that Ben Affleck surprised even those people that doubted him in his role as Batman. Now obviously going into the future, there's been quite the turmoil inside of Warner Brothers and DC with how the future of the universe is going to shape up. Now obviously we know that Reeves was hired to do the Batman movie, and that the movie is probably going to start production towards the end of the year, targeting a 2019 release date. Now this would obviously be the smartest choice because it is going to land on a major anniversary for Batman, which would be the 80th anniversary. So lining up a brand new movie with Matt Reeves helming it and possibly staying true to the comics would probably be the best tribute you could really give this character. Now obviously Batman isn't the only character that is going to be getting this giant treatment. Recently we learned that former Avengers and Marvel director Joss Whedon was hired to write and direct the upcoming Batgirl movie. And of course, Batgirl is a major character within herself and a character that carries a huge fan base. And by all accounts, this is going to be based on the New 52 version by Gail Simone, which was a darker telling of the character. Now, while Batman and Batgirl remain in early production, earlier in this year, we did learn that Warner Brothers is fast-tracking a Gotham City Sirens movie. Now, this movie would of course unite the fan favorite and the standout of Suicide Squad, which would be Harley Quinn, and she would be making her big screen team leadership, I guess you could say, along Poison Ivy and Catwoman. Now, instead of wanting history to repeat itself, where Suicide Squad was cast and the script was written in 6 weeks and it got into production, the film was not very well received like Batman v Superman. So the natural progression would be, and you hope that Warner Brothers has seen this and say, okay, we'll give it more time and we'll push this movie out in 2019 as well. Which brings us to the latest and final movie. Earlier this year, we had the major announcement that Warner Brothers is in fact going to make a Nightwing movie, which was rumored to most likely come out late 2020, but optimistically they are shooting for 2019. Now Nightwing also already they're saying is going to be fast-tracked as they've been working on a script and they're doing actually trying to fit it into how it's going to fit this new mold that they're moving in. Which would mean that we could potentially be getting 4 Batman-centric movies or Bat Family-centric movies in 2019. Which brings us to the major rumor going on right now, and that's that Warner Brothers is going to give all of these films time to kind of sit there, to gestate, to develop these films, to the fact that they want a coherent universe, and the fact that Matt Reeves was given this kind of leadership role and then Joss Whedon is being brought on so he can kind of look over it and make sure it goes the same flow and path as the actual Avengers and the MCU did, since he is responsible for making sure that universe clicked together. So when you really think about it, making sure it's the 80th anniversary of Batman for a new Batman movie makes all the sense in the world. And this is where they have to tread carefully, because if one of these movies ends up tanking, it's going to bring the other ones down with it. Now there's also the argument of how exactly are these movies going to click with one another, and is there any overlap with them? And could you possibly be saturating the market? Now, don't get me wrong, I, like many of you, love Batman. I mean, he's one of the most important characters in comic book history and one of the most important in film history. When you look at what Batman '89 did, that movie redefined what it meant to market a movie. It really was that huge, specifically for superhero movies. So they have to tread very carefully, and hopefully they deliver something good. It is my hope that they're not going to put out 4 movies in 2019, and I would love it if they kind of put maybe 2 Batman movies out in 2019, 2 in 2020, and really make sure they lead one into another, because you guys gotta think, there's also a full slate of Fox movies, there's Sony movies, and there's also the MCU movies coming out that same year. And at this rate, if these 4 are added to the slate, we're going to be potentially looking at 14 comic book movies. So that's kind of insane, and that might just be overload even for the most hardcore fans of the genre.